The galaxy was quiet that day, almost deceptively so. I had been wandering through Sector 9C, a stretch of star systems notorious for pirate ambushes and rogue asteroid fields. My ship, the Ardent Voyager, hummed softly as I navigated between the glittering debris of what used to be a thriving mining colony. My mission was straightforward: deliver medical supplies to the outer colonies of Xiphos, but nothing in the universe is ever as simple as it seems. As I adjusted the controls, a distress beacon blinked on my console. The signal was faint but unmistakable. It came from a small, uncharted moon, its surface pocked with craters and jagged rock formations. Whoever sent the signal was alive and in trouble. I engaged the auto-land system and descended through the thin atmosphere. From the cockpit, I saw a glimmering structure half buried in the red dust, a makeshift settlement, clearly battered by some recent catastrophe. Smoke curled into the alien sky, and the faint cries of children carried on the wind. I didn't hesitate. The rescue. When I reached the settlement, I found the scene was worse than I had imagined. The buildings were charred, some entirely collapsed, and in the middle of the wreckage, 3 small figures huddled together. Their skin shimmered faintly, an iridescent blend of silver and lavender, typical of the Thalari, a rarely encountered species. Their bodies were thin and frail, but their eyes glowed with an intelligent curiosity that belied their apparent helplessness. I dropped my gear and rushed toward them, scanning for any immediate threats. The air was heavy with the stench of smoke and ozone. "It's okay," I called out softly. "I'm here to help." At first, they froze, suspicion evident in their wide eyes. Then, one of them, a boy no older than 7, his scales reflecting the dying sunlight, took my hand. "He said we're safe," he whispered. The others followed his lead, and I guided them to the shuttle. But the moment wasn't over. From the shadows of a nearby ruin, a figure emerged. She was taller than any human, her frame elegant, yet visibly weakened. Her silver lavender skin mirrored her children's, but her face carried the weight of loss. Her eyes, large and reflective, brimmed with grief and resolve. "You've found them," she said, her voice soft but commanding. "I thank you." Her name was Lasara, and it became quickly clear that she was their mother, and a widow, struggling to survive after a marauder attack had claimed her partner and ravaged her settlement. Trust and tension. The shuttle ride back to my ship was tense. Lasara stayed silent, her hands clutching a fragment of what I assumed was a family heirloom. Her children, though shaken, seemed to sense the safety I could provide and were slowly warming to me. I don't know if I can trust anyone again," she finally admitted. Her voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw her tears glint like molten silver on her cheeks. "I understand," I said, keeping my tone gentle. "But right now, we need to get you and your children somewhere safe." During the journey, I monitored the children's vital signs and repaired minor injuries they had sustained during the attack. Lasara watched silently as I worked, occasionally glancing at her children with an intensity that both frightened and humbled me. She was protective, yes, but not beyond reaching a fragile trust. By the time we reached the orbiting medical station, I had managed to stabilize her children. Lasara's initial suspicion had softened into wary gratitude. A bond forms. Over the next several days, I assisted Lasara in rebuilding some semblance of normalcy. The station's medical wing offered refuge for her children, and I helped her establish communications to other nearby Thalari settlements. During this time, I learned more about her people. The Thalari were a noble race, known for their bioluminescent scales and exceptional psychic intuition. Lasara herself had the rare ability to sense emotional states with remarkable clarity, a gift, she explained, that had often been as much a curse as a blessing. We shared stories in the quiet hours. I spoke of Earth, the struggles of humans, and the vast loneliness of space travel. She spoke of her planet, her lost partner, and the life she had once dreamed of for her children. With each story, a fragile thread of trust wove between us. One evening, as the station's artificial sunset bathed the chamber in a soft orange glow, her youngest daughter placed her hand over mine. "We like you," she whispered. Lasara's eyes softened in that moment, a crack in her armor that I hadn't expected to see. Threat returns. Just as things seemed to settle, the threat returned. A scouting ship from the Marauder group tracked the distress beacon I had responded to. They appeared on our sensors, a fast, angular vessel, weapons primed. Lasara's children screamed, and she instinctively shielded them with her body. I acted on instinct, maneuvering the ardent Voyager to intercept the Marauders. We exchanged fire in the void, the echoes of energy beams bouncing off the station's hull. Lasara, despite her lack of combat training, assisted with psychic projections to create illusions that confused our attackers. Her abilities were formidable, but the Marauders were relentless. "Stay with the children," she shouted over the comms. The battle raged for nearly an hour, each second stretching into eternity. I managed to disable the enemy's navigation systems, forcing them into retreat. By the end, the ardent Voyager was battered, but Lasara and her children were safe. The confession. After the attack, Lasara approached me in the dimly lit observation deck. The stars outside streaked in patterns as the ship accelerated through hyperspace. "I've lived my life guarding my children, trusting no one," she began. Her eyes met mine with an intensity that was almost painful. "But you risked everything for us. You protected them. You." She stopped, swallowing hard, and for a moment, I thought she might retreat. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "Marry me." I blinked, taken aback. The words hung between us, surreal against the backdrop of distant galaxies. You want to marry me?" I asked, half in disbelief, half in wonder. "Yes," she said simply. "Not because it is required or convenient, but because you've shown me something I thought was lost, that there is kindness in the galaxy, that someone can care for my children as I do." It was an extraordinary moment, the kind of thing stories are made of but seldom experienced. I felt my own heart respond before my mind could fully process it. "I don't know what to say," I admitted, "but I know I care for you and your children. I don't think I've ever felt this bond before." She nodded, relief and hope mingling in her gaze. A new beginning. We spent the following weeks traveling together, forging a new family out of the chaos of loss. Lasara's children warmed to me fully, and I discovered a joy I had never known, one born from protection, trust, and genuine love. We established a small sanctuary on a neutral asteroid, one that would serve as a safe haven for any Thalary or human seeking refuge from the endless conflicts of the galaxy. Together, we rebuilt, not just physically but emotionally, bridging species and hearts in a bond that defied the odds. Lasara's marriage proposal wasn't about tradition or obligation. It was about unity, survival, and the quiet, persistent magic of mutual care. And when we finally exchanged vows in the glow of a distant sun, surrounded by her children and the few allies we had gathered along the way, it felt less like an ending and more like the beginning of a story that neither of us could have predicted. The galaxy outside remained vast and unpredictable, full of dangers yet to come. But inside our sanctuary, there was light, laughter, and love, a testament to the fact that even in the darkest reaches of space, hope could flourish. And as Lasara rested her head against my shoulder, watching her children play beneath the artificial sky we had created, I knew that we had found something rarer than any treasure the universe could offer, a family born not of blood alone, but of courage, compassion, and choice.
Epilogue.
Years later, when we returned to the Thallery homeworld to pay respects to her fallen partner, Lysara's children ran ahead, unafraid, laughing as they raced through fields of iridescent flora. She took my hand and whispered, "You saved them.
You saved me.
And now you've given us a future." I smiled, looking at the faces of the children who had once been orphans, now thriving and full of life. "No," I said softly. "We saved each other." In that moment, I understood the truth of her words on that first night aboard my ship. Sometimes, heroism isn't about battles or glory. It's about the courage to protect, the willingness to trust, and the quiet bravery of saying, "I will stand with you, always." And in the boundless expanse of space, amidst stars that had witnessed countless tragedies and triumphs, we carved out our own small eternity, a family united by love and survival against all odds.